Hi, my name is Joan Palacios. Today I'm going to present the second video of my video presentation for Professor Kaleem in the class is ISM 6326. The first video was simply a PowerPoint that just demonstrated what SQL is, how it works, how to know to find a vulnerable website. I showed some simple SQL injection scripts, a little bit more advanced scripts, and what I'm going to do in this video presentation is just show. I'm not going to do a real hands-on per se because my name and all of my information is in this video, so I don't want the proper authorities to see me actually breaking into a website. So what I'm going to do is hypothetically show how to get into a website and show what will happen without actually breaking into the website or hacking the website. So the first thing that I want to show is just a website that I've seen. I don't know if it works, but I'm pretty sure it does. This is a website that I've tried or tested for educational purposes. This is the FIU, after all, an FIU website. This web page is a .asp site. Most of these sites are very simple to get in, especially the login page. One of the simple login scripts that I showed in the previous video would be able to get into and get access to this site as the administrator. Something like a simple statement as 1 apostrophe or apostrophe 1 apostrophe equals apostrophe 1 should be able to get in. And I want to reiterate, should. I've never tried it before. Alright, so this is just a simple website to actually log in, and you can get full access as the admin. The next thing I'm going to show just something a little bit more advanced that requires a little bit more patience, and it's not as simple as just writing one little script and getting in. But this information that you'll get here, it's pretty much you'll view the information from the database, and you can pretty much steal all of the information that's in their database. Well, the first thing to do is, what I've been doing is looking for websites that have a .php. Those are susceptible to SQL injection. So let's assume that there's a page on this site that has a PHP. Let's just browse through it randomly. Let's look. Catalogs, order, journal. There's a lot of different things here. The calendar. All right. Let's assume let's say that there's a question mark here. There's an equal sign and a number 25. All right. What you would do in this website is basically place up an apostrophe in front of the 25 or in back of the 25. It's always the number after the equal sign, before the 2 or after the 5. When you do enter and you press enter, you should get an SQL error message. With that error message, you know that this site is vulnerable to SQL injection. If you don't, then move on to another website. Alright, so let's assume that this website is vulnerable to SQL injection. Again, I'm not going to do the actual demonstration because all of my information is on this video, and I don't want to get arrested. It's plain and simple. Not for a grade for this class. Alright. Well, once you've done that, once you've established that it is a hackable website, you're going to go ahead and enter just enter this order by 10 or order by 1. It doesn't matter if you start by 10 or start by 1. You can start by 1. What you're doing is seeing how many tables there are in that website. When you go order by 1, order by 2, order by 3, just keep changing it. You will eventually find the correct number of tables, and it will show you on the actual on the website it will show you, let's say a number 3 or a number 5. You'll have that information. So once you see that when the error message goes away and you actually back into the website, you've established the number of tables on that site. All right, and this is just, let's go over here back to my little notepad just to get more information here. All right, so we've already established that once you establish that the website is hackable, all you have to do is go ahead and enter the order by statement, but then this will you figure out the number of columns in the table. And again, you keep going down in numbers or going up until the page loads correctly. Once you've established this, then put a minus after the equal sign and enter union, then select the number of tables that you have. So if you have 6, you would enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you have 2, then you enter union, select union 1 and 2. All right, and then once you've established this, you'll see that on the actual website, you'll see the data being pulled from the actual database, which is pretty cool. So once you have that information, you select the number of, so you have that, and then you view the data on the web page, and then select which column you want to see. So let's say in my case, there's 5. Let's say there's only 5 columns in this website. You would remove the 5 or whatever number you select, and then you'd enter the @ version. Okay, and you enter this little string here. This gives you the SQL version, and this is very important. If it's above 5, or I'm sorry, if it's lower than 5, you should leave it alone and continue if it's above 5. The simple reason why I'm saying this is from my experience. My experience is that it's harder if it's below 4 for some reason. I don't know why, but it is. So once you've established that, you can go ahead and remove the @ version, and then after the last number, enter the group concat table from. You just enter this string. So let's go ahead and just enter that. Well, let's go back and actually enter what I just have been actually saying. Go ahead and enter the union. You would enter union, and then let's say union 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're going to get other numbers in here with percentages, and there's going to be a pop of 20. It's just the web page, the way it formats. You would enter after the last number, you would enter this in here. Once you've entered all that information, it's going to give you all the tables stored on the website. And once you've done that, you just start looking for the information that you want. If you want to get the login information for the admin, just look for the admin or login table. If you want the price sheet, just look for the price sheet. All the tables are identified by specific characters, by a specific name. So just look for the table, scan, and you just scan the tables and try to play around with it and see where do you want to get the information from. So once we've established, let's say I'm looking for the admin, okay? Then change the group concat, the previous information, and I have it right here. You would just change this. All right. All right, and then you would change the group concat, the column name from information schema to column where the table scheme equals data. This will return all the columns from every table. Okay. Once you have all that information, you're going to go back to the original script and you're going to remove the group concat column name. Here, this is the interesting part. This is where you're going to get all the data that you need or require. You're going to replace the group underscore concat with the parentheses column name. You're going to replace that with concat with the column, the 0 times 3a, comma, column, close parentheses, from table, /star. However, you're going to change the column here, these two columns, and this one here, you're going to change it to the table name that you want. So in this case, let's say if it's admin and login, you would just change that to that. And what's going to happen is on the actual screen on the website, it's gonna show you the table with the information that you're looking for. It's a very simple thing to do. You can do what I did, or what I do is put it on Notepad, have all the information ready, and within a couple of minutes you've educationally hacked into the website. Here's another website that I was looking at. This one was a little bit more tricky, but again, I don't really know if this really works, but I'm assuming that this website works. You would do the same exact thing. It's not a very hard or difficult thing to do. It just requires a little patience in searching for the website. Again, I didn't do a hands-on demonstration or a real hands-on demonstration because I don't want to get arrested because of my information is all in here. But let's go open up the Notepad. Here, let me make this a little bit bigger so you can still see my face, so that you can see the script to make sure that what I'm doing is correct. Again, you would find a site that's vulnerable. You can use a Google Dork and enter in URL. Well, that would be here, .php or .asp. Or you can also look for like the little cheesy easy ones would be a Google Dork for login.asp, and with those login.asps you can go to you can search for the admin, and you would enter one of these true statements. This is a very simple SQL injection statement, and that should get you in. That statement can be used for a website like this. Again, I'm just saying, I don't know if it works or not. I've never done this before, so I don't know. Like I said, this site is easy, but in order to actually do what I did earlier with the actual getting information from the tables, this is going to just require a little bit more work in terms of finding the right website that is vulnerable to the SQL injection. But if you follow all of these steps that I've highlighted here, you should be able to get the username, password. But beyond that, you should be able to basically get all the information from the tables. It's a very simple procedure, and it only takes a couple of minutes to do. Again, just for your information, this one would work for a very easy, simple 1 = 1 true statement. This is these two websites, this one and this one, would go for what I highlighted here, where you would order the tables. You would enter the order by statement just to get the number of tables that are showing, or that the database is showing in the website. You would filter it, and then you can view the data on the web page. Also, make sure that it is, if it's a version 5 or above, you can on MySQL that should, so that it actually works. You should get all the information that is stored in the tables. Alright, that will wrap up my video. The first video again has more information on what SQL is, and there's also some sample SQL injection techniques that can be used on this website as well, and stealing actually placing an account You can do that on both of these websites. They're vulnerable to that. And that does it for my video presentation. Thank you very much for watching.